What's up, Brian?
Not much. How's it going, John?
It is It's growing gate. It's going great. It is a beautiful day. We watched an awesome movie, and by awesome I mean awesome. And this is episode number, I don't even know.
It's an episode.
It's yet another episode.
It's yet another episode where two friends hang out, watch a movie, and discuss it for your listening pleasure.
Brian, an episode of what?
The Wraith, the 1989 flick starring Charlie Sheen and David Cassavetes.
No, this is the Casual Movie Club.
Oh, this is the Casual Movie Club. Yes. I thought we were talking about the
No, this is the Casual Movie Club, where we watch movies and talk about them and rate them, and all are welcome in the Casual Movie Club. So, to those that are joining us for the first time, welcome. To those that are coming back, welcome. Either way, we love having you here.
Hi.
Hello. And as Brian mentioned, we did watch The Wraith tonight, which I think for many may be an obscure movie. I don't know if this is his first, but it's one of Charlie Sheen's very early movies. And I have been dying to ask you this question. What did you think of it?
I did... Mixed feelings.
Okay, well, go ahead. This is the platform to voice those feelings. This is the platform to talk about how much you loved or how much you hated The Wraith.
In my estimation, this was a bad film. This was not something that has any kind of quality going for it. I did not like it for what it was. But as a bad movie, this is something that I would enjoy. I would enjoy watching to make fun of.
Okay, which we kind of did a little bit.
We did
a little bit.
We did.
Now you said it was a bad movie for what it was. What was it?
It wasn't. It wasn't. It didn't set out to win any Oscars. It didn't.
Clearly not.
The performances were, how do you say, forced?
Hilarious.
The effects were. It was boiling it down. It's a racing movie. It's a movie that I would put on par with Fast and the Furious.
I was just gonna say that it was the 1986 Fast and the Furious.
It reminded me a lot of The Road Warrior, the first Mad Max movie.
Yeah. Now, interestingly enough, I've not seen that.
Really? That's a classic.
That's what I've heard. So that's one for sure to watch. But so I am going to disagree with you. I really like this movie, but not as a piece of quality cinema. I'm not holding this up to any high regard. This is obviously not made to be quality cinema. Right. The thing that really makes this stand out for me, or what I like most about this, are the car chases. The car races are where they spent a majority, or if not all, of their budget.
Can you expand on that?
I absolutely can, Brian.
Because that's one of please expand on it.
Okay. So I just really liked the way that they filmed the car chases, the car race. I keep calling them chases, but they're races. I really liked how they did the car races. I thought that the editing was really cool. The quick jumps between cuts. I liked the vantage points. The front bumper cam. The kind of chase cam as well. Like clearly they did a lot of shooting and did a lot of editing. So you've got the vantage point of you have a vantage point of the cameras in front of the car looking back. So they had a camera lead car that was driving ahead of the racing car. They had the driving itself was really good. Just these sort of driving acrobatics, I guess we could say, between the cars and the sort of interplay between the cars. I just thought it was very entertaining, and I really liked the way it was presented. And I think the music was pretty good for the. We'll talk about the music in a minute, but I really liked the music choices for the car races as well. So it was very entertaining to watch. Now, what I would like you to do is explain why you didn't like that.
The car chases were uninspired. They were very, to me, very boring. Whenever someone was racing, it was a side by side. Somebody gets in front, somebody gets behind.
Yeah,
there was.
But that's how races go.
That is how races go. However, if I would point to any car chase in any other film that is more exciting. The French Connection, 1979, Gene Hackman.
Yeah.
That's a car chase that you can point to as this is exciting. And it wasn't even a car chasing a car. It was a car chasing an L-train car. If we look to Speed, this is a movie based solely on a bus trying to maintain speed and to maintain its miles per hour. And to me, that was more exciting than these races.
But you go ahead. I'm sorry.
Whenever a car chase or a race happened, it was the guy coming up challenging the Ghost Rider, the Wraith, and challenging him to a race, and it was pretty much what I just said. They go off on a windy, hilly road that isn't that. There didn't seem to be a lot of skill in riding this road, and for the majority of the races, it was side by side. The Wraith pulls ahead, the guy pulls ahead, and then they're side by side again, and the Wraith darts off far enough ahead where he blocks and explodes the car. There wasn't a lot of meat to these races or chases.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that, but I think there's also I think it's worth saying that there is a difference between a race and a chase.
Sure, and there were both. There were both in
right, and I agree with you that some aspects of it were formulaic. Mm-hmm. But I don't agree. You said something where it looked like it didn't require skill to drive these roads. Well, I would disagree with that, because if you want to drive a road like that, and thankfully around here we have a lot of roads like that. Mm-hmm. Where the speed limit's 30, 40 miles an hour. Now, putting aside the fact that it was a movie and they were probably driving at 30 miles an hour and they sped up the film, or, putting that all aside, driving those roads at very high speeds does take a lot of skill. So I think, you can go either way. And we're not saying either of us is right and either of us is wrong. That's the beauty of our Casual Movie Club podcast.
I definitely concede that it takes skill to ride windy roads like that have big bends in them. However, that skill wasn't communicated to me in film.
I respect that. But I still find those car chases to be extremely entertaining. I think they were very entertaining to watch. But
sure.
Hey, that's just me. Yeah. This is a great movie to have on in the background, because you can look up and if you missed the first car chase, just watch the second one.
Yeah.
I have to call out the soundtrack.
Soundtrack is quintessential 80s. It was rock 80s.
Yeah.
It was rock.
Yeah.
It was rocking.
It was 80s hair rock.
Yes, there was some Ozzy in there.
Yeah.
There was who else? Some Robert Palmer.
Yeah, let's see. Actually, I got it up on IMDb right now.
Off the top of my head, we've got Billy Idol, Robert Palmer, Motley Crue.
Okay, so here we go. We've got Where's the Fire by Tim Feehan. Secret Loser, Ozzy Osbourne. Hearts vs. Heads by Stan Bush. Wake Up Call, Ian Hunter. Smokin' in the Boys' Room by Motley Crue. Addicted to Love by Robert Palmer. Scream of Angels, Nick Glider, whatever it is. Power Love by Lion. Those Were the Days, Honeymoon Suite. Never Surrender by Lion. Matter of the Heart, Bonnie Tyler. I knew her voice sounded familiar. Hold On, Blue Eyes by Lamarca. Rebel Yell, Billy Idol. Young Love, Hot Love by Jill Michaels. And Bad Mistake by James House. So some of those I'd never heard of, but some of those are big names.
Yeah.
Big names in the 80s music.
They had
genre.
They had some rock ballads in there too, and you had to have that if you've got the romance element that this movie had. Mm-hmm. Let's just go over, just for the people that may not have seen this, and just to see if let them know what this is about in case they do want to throw this on.
Sure, and before we do that, I have to ask you, would you recommend it?
I would recommend it on a situational basis.
Like what?
Like if you're out to, again, my opinion, you're out to put on a bad movie that you want to tear down with your friends. This is a fun movie to talk over.
It's like a good bad movie.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. I think that's the classification. It's a good bad movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give you that. So I would totally recommend it for that reason. I would also recommend it because the car chases or the car races, we'll just call them one and the same, whatever.
Yeah, chases, races.
The traces are entertaining to watch. The music is great, especially if you grew up during that time period. I was born in 1981, so this movie came out in 1986. So that music was definitely stuff I listened to in my childhood.
Yeah.
So it was cool to hear that stuff.
I thought it came out later than that. 86?
Yeah, 86. I want to. Well, I guess we could talk about the effects now, or
yeah.
you want to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let's break it down.
So, what were your thoughts on the effects? I mean, because I think for being a movie in 1986, I think, and not having a tremendous budget, their budget was only $2.7 million.
The practical effects, I really appreciated. The cars being flipped, exploding. The stunts that they pulled, I really appreciated all of it.
Yeah.
The supernatural elements, though, were a little off-putting.
You think so?
Yeah, I mean they fit with the film.
Yeah.
Like I didn't see anything that was really out of place for its time.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I think that. So I agree with you, because sometimes when, for example, when Charlie Sheen would be riding off into the distance on his motorcycle and then he just separates
That's
into
what
like
I'm talking about
3
specifically.
stars.
Yeah. The one thing that was really jarring for me was when the car did that. The car split up into light, and it was in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
It was in the middle of the day. The car split up into beams of light, and then glowed on the horizon for minutes afterwards, and the cops stop and Carrie stops, and they're all looking at the sky, and they're all like, "Wow, look at that!"
Yeah, and isn't it usually customary for those kinds of situations to happen sort of when people aren't looking?
Yeah,
like why would you?
It's like he revealed himself to them for some reason.
Why would he deliberately be like, "Okay, watch me, watch me, watch me"? Poof! I just turned into stars. Did you all see that? It's weird.
I was more believable when he was on the murder bike and disappeared in the stars, because it's dark out and Packard is chasing him in his car, and he comes up behind him. And he's like, "Oh, where did he go? No way!"
Yeah,
and to me that was more believable,
right? Because he faded into the blackness of night and split off. So I'm with you on that. But the daytime scene is
even the
much.
crutches and stuff that apparently had fallen off this guy as he was taking out the gang members, those disappearing. Like I could even get behind that. Those were fine. It's just some of the effects, some of the digital effects, just I didn't think were all that well done. Took me out of it. Yeah,
and I agree with you. The whole crutch thing, it's like a leg brace.
Yeah,
he had this leg brace that after the car would blow up, the person
gang.
in the gang that the Wraith was killing would blow up. The camera would cut to this metal piece that looked like a leg brace, and it would just like fade out into nowhere. And then you just had to kind of assume you understand what that is. Like they never really, like, you could see the leg brace when it was on the Wraith guy when he walked into Packard's hideout and whatnot, but you had to make that connection. If you didn't make that connection, it would just be this random piece of metal that disappears after a car blows up. So it's just kind of, the shot's in there. Why is the shot in there? You know,
it's like he's finally free. He was shackled by his thirst for revenge. He's shackled by these braces on his arms and his legs.
Right, but they wind up going back to him anyway.
That wasn't really that apparent why they were doing that. Yeah, why that was the way it was.
I have no idea.
So this guy's backstory. He's getting with Carrie. They do it, and Packard and his gang burst into the cabin. They kill him, stab him in front of her, and then they beat her over the head until she gets amnesia.
Yeah,
and then they throw Jamie, this guy Jamie. They throw him into the car, and they throw the car off the cliff and burn it. And Jamie's body's never found. So then how much time passes before he rematerializes as Charlie Sheen?
As the Wraith.
The Wraith.
Right.
And why does he look different than...
I thought they said it was like a year or so.
Was it a year? They might have said that, and I just missed it.
I think so. I think it was a year.
Well, let's just run with that. It's a year later.
Yeah.
And the Packard's gang is running amok all over this town in Arizona. But so why does the Wraith come back a year later? Why does he rematerialize and look like Charlie Sheen sometimes, and then other times he's dressed in this futuristic armor with the revenge braces on his limbs?
Yeah.
And then he comes around with this futuristic shotgun.
Right. They don't talk very much about why he came back, why he is the way he is, where he came from. Like, they don't talk about any of that stuff.
This movie should be rebooted.
I agree. So, okay, who would play the Wraith in the reboot?
Not Johnny Depp.
No. And interestingly enough, it's funny you said that, because Johnny Depp was dating Sherilyn Fenn, who played Carrie.
Oh.
At the time of filming the movie, because I'm looking at the trivia on IMDb right now. Johnny Depp, who was then dating Sherilyn Fenn, was present during filming and was living in the film crew's hotel with Fenn.
All right, so we would need somebody young, somebody high school years.
Yeah.
So a young up-and-coming actor.
Which I couldn't even tell you who's up and coming now. I'm so out of touch with. What about the guy from like the Maze Runner movies? Like, I could see him doing it. Did you see the Maze Runner movies?
I saw the first Maze Runner.
Yeah.
Wasn't a big fan.
Yeah, like what the hell's his name? Let me look. Not him. Will Poulter. This guy.
No,
you don't think so?
That's a bad haircut.
Well, it's just a bad picture, but I mean, I could see him pulling it off. Let's see. No, I don't know. I mean, but I agree with you. Somebody in that sort of ilk, because I was instantly jumping to like some of the kids from Harry Potter, but then again, they're like our age.
Yeah,
now.
they're a little older. Maybe somebody from like Riverdale, like KJ Apa, maybe.
Yeah, I'm out of touch with the
youngins, the young up and coming.
Yeah, but somebody of that ilk, I would agree. And then who would play Packard?
Nicolas Cage. Who would play Packard? Oh, of course, it would have to be Nicolas Cage.
It would have to be a young Nicolas Cage. But you know what? Let's take age out of it, and let's just cast it with anybody. So screw age. I think Packard could be Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell today?
No, Kurt Russell from like 20 years ago.
So Kurt Russell, like when he was in The Thing, or
yeah,
I can see it.
Could Kurt Russell be an asshole?
Yeah. Have you seen Death Proof?
It's been a while, a long time.
The Tarantino film where Kurt Russell was an old stuntman, and he's in this stunt car, and he takes unsuspecting teens for a ride, and then he gets in accidents on purpose.
Oh, wow.
So he's in the stunt car, and he's protected in his roll cage, but the passengers don't have anything. They don't have seatbelts or anything, so he gets in accidents on purpose and kills them.
Wow.
Yeah.
What an asshole.
Pretty good movie.
Yeah.
You should check it out.
Okay. So Kurt Russell could play Packard, and then who would play the sheriff?
Oh, David Harbour. He was the sheriff in Stranger Things.
Okay.
He's the new Hellboy. You know David Harbour.
I've probably seen him in things and not even realized it. Okay, I could see that.
So look, back to this movie that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, of course.
Charlie Sheen is the reincarnation of Jamie, right? The brother of, I forget the guy's name, Billy.
Yeah.
Billy from
Hankins.
Yeah, from the burger joint.
I love how everybody in this movie works at the burger joint.
Yeah. And hangs out at the burger joint.
Right.
That's the one thing to do in this sleepy town in Arizona.
Yeah.
So, like, it's been established that Charlie Sheen can disapparate at will and go into the stars and disappear, if you will, because he's dead. He's the reincarnation of Jamie. So, at the very end of this movie, when all of the gang members are dead and he's freed from his revenge, he picks up Carrie and he drives off with her. Where are they going to go? And he says pack light. It's going to be a short trip. It's like he's taking her to heaven or wherever it is he came from.
Yeah.
He's dead.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's a good point. I mean,
where the hell is she going?
Yeah, I mean, it made me wonder. You're right.
It doesn't make any sense.
Well, there's a lot of things in this movie that don't make sense.
That's why they should reboot it and answer these questions.
Yeah, I could see it. I could see it being a good movie. And IMDb, it says it's a 5.9 out of 10, which
that's low.
Yeah, out of 12,890 ratings. It's only an hour and 33 minutes. Now, okay, I find this funny. IMDb characterizes this as an action, horror, and romance. There's nothing scary about this movie.
There's nothing horror about this.
This is action, sure. Romance, sure. Maybe. Horror? No. Nothing scary about this whatsoever.
No.
Do you want to go to numbers, or is there anything else that you want to talk about?
No, we can go to numbers.
Yeah, let's number it up. So now, if you're wondering what in the hell are you talking about numbers, other than being a spreadsheet program on a Mac, it is what we do when we want to rate our movies that we look at. So you can go to our website, casualmovieclub.com, and you can look at the leaderboard where we have the various movies listed there, and we rate things like the acting. How well did the actors convey the story? How believable were they? The script. How well was the dialogue written? The quality of the writing. The presentation, the editing and visual effects usage. Too much? Not enough? How did the movie look? Music and sound. How did the movie sound? The soundtrack as a whole. Sound effects, score, music, all the goodies for your ears. Also, uniqueness. Has this movie been done before at the time of its release? So just want to make that clear, because if we're talking about a movie that was remade 5-10 years, after that, that doesn't count, because this movie, for the time period that it came out, we're talking about the uniqueness score of when it came out. And then the engagement factor. How likely are you to stay awake or stay engaged or stay glued to the screen while the movie is playing? So we're gonna score this movie in just a second, but also want to make sure you guys can give us your thoughts and let us know what you think of The Wraith or other movies that we've talked about. We would love for you to connect with us on Twitter or Instagram. You can reach us at Casual Movie Club. You can also go to our website, casualmovieclub.com, where you can view our leaderboard, look at our blog, which is basically a list of all our episodes. You can go to find us as well on whatever podcast platform you are in the mood for. We are on a whole bunch of different platforms, namely iTunes, Google Play, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and our episodes are also over on YouTube as well. So please feel free to connect with us. We would love to hear from you. Let us know what you think. You can also give us a call and leave us a voice message or send us a text to a non-live phone number, which Brian is going to give you right now.
I was not prepared.
Sorry, I'm going to...
No.
It's like 402 something, right?
Yeah, I got it right here. That number is 402-882-2742.
I thought you were pulling it up because usually this is the part where we do that. But
yeah, I was looking at the leaderboard.
Oh, okay. Cool. So let's start with some numbers. I'm going to start with acting. How well do the actors convey the story? I think the acting leaves quite a bit to be desired. I don't think it was Oscar worthy by any means. Anyone in the film, especially the delivery of some of those lines, just felt so cheesy. It almost felt like they were trying to be cheesy.
We didn't even talk about Skank.
Oh,
or what was his friend name?
Skank and
Good Boy,
Gutter Boy.
Gutter Boy, yeah.
Oh God, and Skank, you would see periodically because these two guys hung with Packard, so. Skank would drink various automotive fluids throughout the movie. So I wish you guys could see the face Brian's making right now.
He was snorting WD-40 at one point.
Yes, he was snorting WD-40. He was drinking hydraulic fluid when he was out at, I guess he worked at a plane yard where old planes were. So he was drinking hydraulic fluid then. I think he was drinking brake fluid at one point.
There was brake fluid in the car at the quarry.
Yeah. So, just weird.
So
weird, guys. And then the egghead of Packard's bunch was this guy with really poofy hair, like a white afro kind of thing.
Rughead?
Yeah, he was kind of a dork. But, so, acting-wise, not Oscar-worthy, but not... I don't know, man. Like, I'm torn between a high 1 or a low 2.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow, what?
I thought you were going to go higher than that.
Really?
I did.
All right. Well, I'm going to go 2.25 for acting. It wasn't horrible, but... No, 2. Straight 2. I'm going to go straight 2 for acting. Start you there. What do you think, acting?
Yeah, I was planning on giving it a 2 even. There are some really bad strings of dialogue in here, but I think for its time, for other movies that were out when this movie was out, I think it's probably pretty good comparatively. I would put it at a 2.
Okay, cool. So now with acting, the actors need something to read and something to act off of. The script. Brian, what did you think of the quality of the writing of the script?
So if what we're grading this on is the dialogue in the script, not necessarily the story, right?
Or the delivery.
Or the delivery, right? So if we're grading it on that, it was pretty poor. None of it felt natural to me.
Oh yeah.
But it wasn't all bad. I'm gonna give it a 2.5.
Okay. I'm actually going to split the difference here. I'm gonna go 2.25 only because there were some things that were extremely cheesy. But I think part of this was I'm giving this kind of based a little bit on the delivery, and I know I shouldn't be, but there were just some moments of oddness, especially in Packard's character, with things that he would say to Carrie, and like right towards the very end, I think it was towards the very end, when she just looks at him and she's like, "You can kill me, but you'll never love me."
Yeah, you'll never make me love you.
Yeah, or whatever she said. But it was, I mean, I feel like it could have been said more eloquently, maybe even with fewer words.
Remember when he had the knife and was cutting his hand open?
Oh, Lord.
And just bleeding all over the place?
Yeah.
Like, we're better than blood brothers. We're blood lovers.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it was pretty terrible.
Yeah. So presentation and editing, visual effects usage. I happen to like the editing, especially during the car races and such, the car scenes. I didn't really have much of a problem, but I am going to deduct points because I think we had some major continuity issues. For example, one thing that comes to mind is when Carrie's on the bike with Charlie Sheen and the two crazy guys, well, they're all crazy, but
Skank and Gutter Boy.
Yeah, Skank and Gutter Boy are chasing them through the tunnel. The tunnel they go into and the tunnel they're filmed inside of are clearly not the same tunnel. Some of that, also the placement of Charlie Sheen's scars was, it left a lot to be desired. There was zero continuity, zero fucks given on, making sure that the scars look the same and all that stuff. So I think there were some editing issues there. I'm going to give the presentation a flat 2 because it's redeemed by the kind of, the way that the editing was done and the way that the car chases were done. So that bumps it up from a 1 something to a flat 2.
Still lower than I would have expected from you.
Yeah, I guess I'm being a little more.
You're being a little harsh.
Yeah.
Yeah, considering that I feel like you liked this movie far more than I did.
It'll be interesting to see how the numbers look because right now, because I have a spreadsheet that does the averaging kind of as we do this. We haven't even gotten to the rest of it yet. You liked it more than I did, but I think that will change as we get a little further on.
So
you are on presentation now.
We're on the presentation. Editing and visual effects. Like I said before, the thing that took me out of it the most was the supernatural elements to it. I thought they were really poorly done. And there were other movies that came out around this era that really knocked it out of the park. Ghostbusters comes to mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would give it a flat 2 based off of it the effects.
Okay. How about music and sound?
Music and sound. So the soundtrack was fine, but I think what they did with the soundtrack was not fine. They would play over some emotional beats that were obviously needed silence or needed to have the music ducked a little bit, and it felt very sloppy to me.
So you're kind of talking more the mix.
Yeah.
Like the audio mix. Okay.
Were we talking about music and sound? Yeah. Okay. I wanted to make sure that I was categorizing. I was scoring the right category here.
Yeah.
So because of all that, I mean, the soundtrack was good again, but it just didn't. They really ruined it with how they mixed it together. I think is the best way I can put that. So I would probably give it a 2.5.
Okay. I can't say that I completely agree with that because, especially being one with a more critical ear, I think that I actually really liked their use of, the 80s hair rock, music. I loved the soundtrack of it, just for the choices of music and that sort of thing. I didn't really feel like I had any issue with the sound mix levels, but maybe it might just be that I've seen the movie a number of times. I liked the sound effects, especially the sound effects of the cars and everything, and especially I thought it was interesting that they used the same sound effect, and maybe this might not be a good thing. I'd be curious to see what you think. They used the same sound effect for his motorcycle that they did for the engine of his motorcycle that they did for the engine of his car. Did you notice that?
Did not notice that. I did notice that his bike sounded unusual for it being a motorbike.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was interesting. I'm actually going to be a little bit more generous here. I'm going to give the music and sound a 3.
Okay.
And I'm bumping it up mainly for the music. The use of the
soundtrack.
The soundtrack, yeah. Uniqueness. So has this movie been done before? And again, we're barring any internet research that we haven't done, because this is Casual Movie Club. We don't do internet research.
We keep it casual.
Exactly. So I cannot think of a movie that was done in this time period that involved a supernatural being that comes back in a car, with an epically crazy car that then kills people. I can't think of a movie that does that. So,
have you heard of or seen the movie Christine?
Oh yes, such a good movie.
That's an 80s movie.
It is an 80s movie, but the car is already possessed. It's not like someone dies and comes back with the car. It's like the car already has the demon. So that's why it didn't come to mind. I'm going to give the uniqueness factor a 3 point. No, I'm going to give it a 4 because I think it's pretty. No, I'm going to give it 3.75 because it's, Christine is kind of a similar movie where the car is kind of a main focal point. Back to the Future has the car as kind of a main focal point. So it's not a completely new movie, completely unique movie on its own, but I think it does stand pretty well.
For me, the revenge supernatural elements aside, it has revenge elements to it, and it's reminded me greatly of The Road Warrior.
Okay.
Where the guy in The Road Warrior, his family was killed, and he was left for dead, and he comes back in his car, and he hunts down the gang that ruined his life, that killed his family.
Wow.
And he kills them one by one.
That's very similar.
Very similar, but there's no supernatural element to it.
Okay.
But then there's also Christine. Also,
there's the movie Duel.
Yeah, there's that. So this movie felt like it took a lot of inspiration from other movies that came out around its time. It's still got its own level of uniqueness, though. So I would put my uniqueness at a 3.
Okay, I thought you would go a little higher than that.
I'm gonna stick with a 3.
Okay, and then to round it up, engagement factor. How much were you stuck? How much were you stuck to the screen?
Well, here's the thing. I've heard of this movie before.
Okay.
I've known of this movie, but I had never seen it.
Until today.
Okay.
Okay.
So watching it there was a mix of interest because I'd never seen it before, but then there were also parts where I could tell that I could tune out, and I did tune out.
Okay. I could kind of tell.
Yeah. So and I didn't lose anything when I did tune out. Mm-hmm. I could probably give this a 3 for engagement.
Okay.
It's because if I were to watch it again, I could probably see me still being engaged in certain parts. I could also see me being engaged totally just to pick up on all the details, all the threads, all the zaniness that it is.
Yeah, I could see that. I think for me, I was definitely more engaged during the car racing scenes. I think that overall the movie does have its engaging parts, but I agree with you. There are some parts where I kind of tuned out. I picked up my phone. I was looking at some of my notifications and everything. So I think 3 is a good place for engagement. I'm going to kick it up a tiny bit just because I really liked the car scene. So
you enjoy it.
I did. So engagement of 3.25. So that's my final number. Now, before I read the final numbers here, do you want to do any take backsies, revisions, changes, updates?
No, I'm pretty good with where I placed it.
All right, cool. I'm just waiting for the leaderboard to load, and then I want to see where this is going to lie because it's the total number is. It's definitely not going to be in the top of the list, but I want to see. I want to make sure it's going to go someplace good. I'm
going to take a guess. I can't see from my angle. I can't see here. I'm going to guess that this movie's going to fall in. We don't have a ranking here, like first, second, third. I mean,
You talking about on the bottom or the mid or the top or what?
It's going to be. I think it's going to be above Wild Wild West, below Batman. That's where I think.
Okay. So here we go. Without further ado, I did like the movie more than you. My total average 2.71. Yours was 2.5. But here are the numbers calculated and averaged out. Acting 2, script 2.38, presentation 2, music and sound 2.75, uniqueness 3.38, engagement factor 3.3, for a total average of 2.60.
Whoa.
Putting it below Wild Wild West as the third from the bottom movie on the leaderboard.
Wow, I was not expecting that.
I wasn't either. I was kind of like, I was hoping it was going to beat out Wild Wild West. You know, I was hoping it was going to be like fourth from the bottom.
I think Wild Wild West is a worse movie than this.
Yeah, you know, but hey,
this is where it is.
This is where it is.
Yeah.
That's right. So I got an idea. How about we keep our listeners guessing as to what our next movie will be?
I like that.
So we're not going to pick it at the end of this episode. We're going to keep you guys guessing. So what will happen? Because if you guys haven't figured out, Monday nights we release our podcast. So next Monday will be something.
Yeah.
But hey, it's casual.
It's keep it casual, baby.
Keep it casual. That's right. So as always, we really appreciate you guys tuning in, joining us for hanging out, talking about this interesting movie, The Wraith, tonight. Next episode will be some movie.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. And we'll see you there. And you guys have a wonderful rest of your day.
Okay, we'll see you later.